Welcome to another episode here at Keyrenter Provo in St. George. Today on our Keys to Utah Rentals episodes, we're going to talk about something really interesting. I get a lot of questions from prospective tenants. What are your qualifications to get into an apartment? And you're going to hear on the street, and it's probably more accurate than not, that we're a little bit tricky to get into. That's because we want really good tenants for our landlords. They're going to stay long term, they're going to be financially responsible, and they're going to take care of the property. That's our goal. And if you're that person as a prospective tenant, welcome to Keyrenter. If you're not, keep going down the road, because we're probably not going to be the best fit for you. So what are those credentials or qualifications we're looking for? Well, first of all, there is an application fee, and those typically cover the costs of doing background checks to check, employment, check background, check, just criminal background check, all those different checks we're gonna do. So that'll cover that. So again, $45. Then you're gonna allow for about 24 to 48 hours to process. We're actually seeing the needle go closer to 24 hours as opposed to 48, which is kind of cool. We pride ourselves on being really quick as far as turnaround goes. So kind of have that expectation going into it if you do submit your application. And again, all of this is on Keyrenter Provo or keyrenter.stgeorge.com/rentals. There's an entire page dedicated to just our rentals, and all applications are filtered through that page, okay? So then we're looking for tenants to have an income of 3x rent or higher. So let's say the rent is $2,000 a month. We need to see that you have at least $6,000 of income coming in with you and another person if needed to qualify for that location. Your credit score needs to be at least a 650. And depending on the situation, it could go down as low as 600, but it's got to be in the 600s for sure. We're looking for no recent bankruptcies. For obvious reasons, we don't want to have any bankruptcies on your record. You can also have a co-signer, which can be a parent or a friend or a neighbor that's got more credit history than you, if that's a problem, but they'll need to submit an application and pay the same fee that you have as well. ESA pets, we've talked about that in a previous episode. We love our pets, we love our dogs, we love our cats, right? But you got to have the proper documentation if it is an emotional support animal or ESA animal, and if not, there is a pet fee and a pet deposit for your pet. We need to meet that pet, make sure that that pet is going to jive with the location, and make sure that the apartment is pet friendly. Some are not. Also, we want to make sure that you understand that if there is an HOA in the in the property that you're looking at, typically you're not going to pay that separate. That'll just be included in the rent. So rarely do you have to pay a separate HOA fee, which is good as a tenant, so you can budget your your cash flows that way. And then we look at utilities, for each property. Be sure to ask that question if it's not explicit on the website, because there are some utilities that we pay as the landlords, like water and garbage and sewer are pretty common, but the tenants will typically pay gas, electricity, and of course, internet, cable, and all the extra things like that you want. And then everyone needs to be in that property 18 years or above to submit an application. And in Provo norm specifically, you can only have 3 unrelated adults per property, and they're very, very strict on that. The penalties are really severe if they do catch you and you are not in compliance with that rule. So everything, again, we do online. We do all of our checking really quickly for you. We're going to be thorough. We may even check some social media, accounts to make sure that there's nothing kind of weird going on there. But for that reason, we love looking at our tenants and making sure that they're qualified. They are going to stay a long time. And we are incentivizing our tenants to actually stay longer right now, just because there are a lot of apartments out there, but there's the qualifications are getting steeper in a lot of areas. So if you can stay where you're at, in most cases, that's better than not. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful. Those are the qualifications to become a tenant at Keyrenter Provo and St. George. Get your application submitted online on the rentals page, and we'll see you then.